Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Persephone's Power. It is lovely to see you all here. My name is Zoe. I want to apologize for not posting a video sooner. I know I said it would be about 2 weeks. However, things sort of got out of hand on my end. Lots of exciting things personally happening in the next couple of weeks for me, which is not really an excuse, but I am still learning about YouTube and everything. So I hope you have a lot of patience with me. So it is finally spring, it is March. We had a really big cold front here in Texas, which is where I live currently. It was quite crazy. We lost a lot of electricity for most people in the state. I lost electricity for about 4 days, so it was a big deal. Now that spring is here, I'm really ready to just celebrate with a lighter color palette and to really just experience everything as its regrowth and its renewal. So it's a really good time, both personally and for the channel, to do that. So for today I have an arrangement I'm going to be doing for you. It is a little bit smaller. This is going to be what I'm using. This is what we might call a compote dish, so it's quite small. But it can actually hold a deceptively large amount of flowers, so that's quite important. We have 2 holidays coming up, major ones, at the end of the month and the beginning of next month. On March 27th is Passover, which is a Jewish holiday celebrating the Exodus from Egypt. And then of course on April 4th we have Easter, which of course is a Christian holiday. So both of these arrangements, well, actually just this arrangement could be used for really both holidays. It doesn't really matter. I know they're more typical Easter colours for sure, but I don't think there's any specific colour palette for Passover, so I think it would work just as well. So there are a couple of new ingredients, tool ingredients that we're going to be using this week. One is the floral foam, really. This is a really good method for keeping it so your flowers stick, especially with what I'm using and what I'm planning on doing today. So this you can get in any craft store, Michael's, I don't know if they have it at Joann's, but Michael's or any other similar store will have it. This is it as it's dry. The key with this is that you don't want to force it into the water, and you don't want to keep the faucet running on it. So what you'll do is you'll simply place it into the water and it will slowly absorb the water and sink to the bottom. And the reason you don't want to force it is there will be air bubbles and air pockets that make it a lot harder for the water retention to stay in, especially if you're actually going to use it for an event like a wedding or a bar and bat mitzvah, where it's going to be it's going to be out for quite a long time. Okay, so I do have a piece of floral foam that I have already wet and put here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this little dish from my kitchen. Normally I'd recommend that you have a plastic liner, any plastic liner. You can get it from Lowe's or Amazon. I unfortunately don't have any, so we're just going to be using it. And to cut it, I'm simply going to place it on top, and then what I can do is with my knife, I'm just going to trace near the edge for the bottom, and that way we're actually going to work upside down up. So that way when I take this off and you look at it this way, you'll see it's quite roughly the circular shape that I want. So then what you're going to do is you're simply going to cut off the 4 corners of the floral foam. And of course, when you're doing this, you don't have to be precise, because it is so malleable. You can, of course, just sort of do what you need to do. And then what I'm going to gently do is I'm going to simply curve my knife and make it so that it's gentle and quite circular and round. Then what I'm going to do is, now that I have my rough hewn thing, I'm going to put it in, and it's perfect. So what I would do is I'd maybe take off perhaps 1/4 of an inch off the top. You don't have to worry about this. This is what I call mechanics. It does not have to be beautiful at all. No one will see this if you've done your job properly, so you don't have to worry about this being perfect at all. Okay, now that I have my little dish, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some floral tape, and this one is a little bit different from last week. Last week I used clear floral tape, which I thought was really good for what we were doing, but for this you're going to want something with a little bit more strength. So I bought this in the 1/2 inch width, and so what you're going to do is you'll just get this and get your shears ready, and what we'll do is we'll cut off a piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a lovely X on this. So what it'll look like for the first part is just like that, and then I'm simply going to take a little bit more tape and continue on with my X. And this is really just helps for your design skills, so that you know that you're sort of evenly matched. I'm going to place it into my vessel. This is what it looks like, and we're going to simply keep it right here. Alright, now that I have my vessel all ready, I'm just briefly going to touch on some of the flowers that I want to pinpoint today. I won't go into in-depth on each one just for time's sake. So the first one I want to talk about is this. It is such a lovely spring flower. It is your tulip. As you can see, it sort of dances just beautifully, which we really want, especially if it's going to be a holiday centerpiece. The second flower that I chose was going to be a daffodil, which is down here. That one I chose because it's just such a happy flower, and it makes me think of spring, and after the darkness of the winter time, it's much needed just to bring a smile to everybody's face. So I think that's a really nice one. I bought a bunch of different roses that you can see in different hues, but I did buy a few garden roses, which are specialty roses, like this one. So this rose is actually called golden mustard, and I'll give you a close-up look at it. So this rose is got a beautiful neutral golden pinkish tone to it, so it's just going to add a nice little neutral color, but a little bit less bland than just white or anything like that. Of course, the other flower I bought, I do have white roses as I say that, but I also have some yellow roses, and I've got some very light blush roses that almost look like quicksand, and quicksand is right between a blush and a golden mustard, so it's a little bit more sandy colored, hence its name quicksand, but it's a really lovely bloom. Okay, without further ado, I am going to start. Like my video last time, I am not going to talk as I do it. I am really just going to work on it and then speed up the video afterwards. If there's a point that I think I really want to make, I will sort of stop the speed editing, and I'll talk about it, but otherwise just enjoy. So one of the points I do want to make quickly though is that because I'm using a much smaller vessel this time than last time, I'm not using a full length vase, what I'm going to do with the greens here, I'm going to take my floral shears and I'm going to cut them to size. So I'm going to snip them where I think I will need them most, and that way I don't have to worry about drowning my flowers or having the stems too long. So we're simply going to snip where we want to snip, and then I can make a lovely pile of just long greens that I can use at my leisure. will tell you that actually as I started doing the design, I realized that my floral foam, I'd cut it a bit too small, so I actually got another X. I don't know if you can tell, but this is actually quite a bit larger and fits better, and that will just make a really nice base for my flowers. So now I'll start. Finally we are done. This is going to be the finished product. As you can see, it's a bit asymmetrical, so it flows up and then flows down. This is a really good piece if you're going to put it on a welcome table, or perhaps if you're going to have sort of a buffet service. You can put it near the buffet. Just be careful that the fire and the warmth, the plate heaters don't make your flowers wilt. So I recommend maybe, or even a dessert table, but I think it would look really nice on a welcome table as well, sort of a little wow factor when people first walk in. I am going to turn this so you can see all the different angles. Like I said earlier, it is so important that you have everything. You want it to look good from every angle, especially since if it's going to be on an entryway table, usually you can go around entryway tables, especially if it's circular, so you'll want it to look its best. So this is the finished product. I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed making it, and I think the colours are perfect for spring. And I really look forward to seeing you guys soon. I have a really exciting series I'm going to be starting soon. I'll give you a hint, books. So I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye! I don't understand why cars always come by, but I do because I'm in a car.